you see us. Hello, come closer now. Is my breath smelling or something? What's the name of that? Yeah, come closer. What is this? What is this?
Baby, come closer.
Come close.
Come closer.
Closer.
Uh-huh.
Let's get close. Okay, that's not that song. Anyway, all right then.
It's Yetunde Vlog. Yetunde Vlogs.
Hi guys. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Yetunde, and this is Kemi, Dr. Kemi. Oh my gosh. Hi, Ken.
Welcome to my channel. And my name is Kemi.
Kemi is unserious. I cannot even deal. This is my friend, my sister, Kem, and she's actually a doctor. I know. She's too, I don't know, Kemi, you're too hot to be a doctor like this. I'm not saying that doctors are not hot, so please don't be angry.
Exactly what she's saying.
I'm just saying that.
Doctors in the house.
Even though you know, doctors don't usually look like this. You know, I'm sure everybody will go to the doctor more often if all their doctors look like this. But anyway, it's enough. So today we're talking about, we're going to get real. Like, we're going quite deep in like real stuff. So if you're offended by or a bit squeamish by talks of certain body parts, I don't know if this one is for you, but you may need to listen because you may be doing certain things wrong. So I wanted us to kind of just get real and talk about certain things like hygiene, you know, C-sections, the real nitty-gritty, women's health, that kind of stuff. And who else better to talk to than Kemi? She's a gifted doctor. Like, she's not just a doctor that has read, she has read, but you know, some people are so gifted at their jobs. That's Kemi. So,
Okay.
Kem.
I washed my head. It's bigger than the whole. Can we fit it? Can you guys see both of us?
Can you get it?
Okay, so
I haven't really spoken about it on my channel before, but I had a C-section when I had Fermi, and it was really unexpected and intense, and you know, but it was necessary because basically, like, you know, I was in labor for 11 hours, you know, and you know, for those that don't know, I was in labor for 11 hours, horrible, did everything, and it wasn't progressing, so they had to do an emergency C-section, and that was, I never expected it. It was awful, like, but I was just like, you know, I was done at that point in time. But what I did not, and what I was not ready for, was afterwards, the after having a C-section, Kemi.
And that's the thing, like a lot of people, you know, focus on, C-section is so easy, like you just continue, bring out the baby, you don't go into labor, but afterwards, like how are you able to deal with the pain?
Yes.
You know, the incontinence.
My tummy was like, I had to carry my tummy to lay down and sleep because everything was just like, I just felt I was in so much pain for the longest time, like, and you don't really know that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I feel like, okay, you know, like in Nigeria, like, people do make light of, like you said, of C-sections. What can we do to make people more aware of the reality of C-sections? Okay. Like,
so I mean, the first thing I think it would be important for us to put out there is that C-sections are not bad. People that go through C-sections are not any less of a woman than the woman that goes through the vaginal birth. So, like, I've had 2 C-sections, and for me, it was necessary. The first one was really necessary because it was twin pregnancy. My pelvis had never been tried, and I had multiple fibroids.
Wow, yeah.
So it already was, you know, earmarked. I was already earmarked for having a C-section. But then I now even ended up having an emergency one because one of the twins had fetal decel, so they had to like just take me in and bring them out. Yeah. You know, and I remember how painful it was. I was in a lot of pain, you know, and I was just put on high doses of morphine and just, you know, anything to get me out of the pain, and they were coming constantly to check on me. So the first thing I would like to say is, you know, having C-sections, if what is most important is that the mother is fine and the baby is fine. That's what's most important. Yeah. And the second thing I would like to say is, after you've had a C-section, you need to let your doctor know if you're in pain. Because I think for me, what happened was they discharged me and wrote a prescription for pain medication for me. Right. And I did not know. The nurse didn't tell me.
Wow.
Like, so they went through all the discharge,
And
you
she
know, the
got
whole discharge.
Let's just give some background. You gave birth in the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know, so the nurse had come in and, you know, put me through, oh, this for the baby, blah, 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 and this for you. You know, but it was really rushed and, you know, so the prescription was there, but I did not know. So I just went home and I just noticed I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't move. By the second day, I was feeling like actual wound. You know, when you're like fresh wound, it was just there around my pelvis, and it was just really painful. So the first thing I would like to say is make sure that, you know, you let your doctor know how much pain, because I mean, they would come to me on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is your pain, with 10 being the most painful, you know, so let them know so that they can, because really you should not be in pain. It's not okay for you to be in pain. So let them know. If you're being discharged, ask for your pain prescription so that you can get your medication. And if you ever have to go back, because sometimes some people develop post-op infections. So if some people are discharged on antibiotics, I wasn't. I didn't have to take antibiotics. So depending on what your case is, where you deliver, it's very important that, you know, all of those questions are asked. But really, a lot of people, and then people that have had vaginal deliveries also talk about, you know, not being able to fart, not being able to, it was so painful. Really,
like even
really painful.
because even though I didn't have a vaginal birth, like I was scared to even fart or go to the toilet because
to
it was
do anything, like it was just really, really painful. But these are real issues that women have to deal with. But the thing is, time would pass and it would come to pass. Like it would come and it would go, and then. But what is most important is focus on the blessing that you've had, and you know how beautiful it is that you've been able to. Your body has been able to grow this human being, bring
like,
out this human being,
this
whole person, nourish this whole person.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so the benefits definitely, you know, outweigh whatever inconvenience that we have to go through.
Okay. So if someone, for example, some people are recommended to go for an elective C-section straight off the bat, and some people get really worried about it, you would tell them to basically go for it, right?
If that's what, so in some countries, like in the US, for example, you can come and just tell them, oh, I don't even want to have a vaginal birth. But in the UK, they would, if there's no contraindication to you having a vaginal birth, they would make sure you at least try to have a normal vaginal delivery. But if they point, like you're in your own case, then they may now resort to. But in Nigeria here as well, depending on if you go to the government hospital, I think I'm not very sure if you can just walk up to them and say, I want to, because there's a lot of resources that go into you know, having a C-section. So they would most likely, if there's really no indication, they will really most likely try. But if you just decide you want to have an elective C-section, I think you should go for it. Whatever works for you. What is most important is that you are alive and your baby is alive. Amen.
Hallelujah. So I think that for me, after the post, you know, C-section and everything, it took me like about 6 weeks to really heal, and like it's mind blowing just how much pain, and just how having to just get on with having a baby. Like, I don't know if you saw that video of that they didn't allow to show in the Oscars because it was showing a mother that had just given birth, and so I just felt really. That when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, I could feel it. I felt all the emotions came rushing back to me, and I was just like, I know this. How can they stop this from showing? This is what we go through as women. And I think that, you know, it's important for us to understand that it takes time, right? It takes time to, even if it's a vaginal birth, sometimes some people are like, you know, they just, okay, I gave birth. All I was done, I was in the market the next day. But still, you still need to...
That's another very important thing. You know, everybody's reality is different. Every pregnancy is different, and every woman is different. My second C-section wasn't as bad as the first one. You know, in fact, it was a different dynamic. I was not even like, because they ended up taking out a fibroid with the baby, which ideally they shouldn't have. You know, so I was in a lot of pain. My uterus wasn't contracting well, so they were, you know, trying to massage it to get it to contract. So that pain was, you know, a whole different ball game. But when they were done, I had my pain meds with me. So of course I had learned from the first one. So it was a whole different experience. But what I like to say is, I've had people, like my mom would pound yam this evening and say, oh, I'm going to the hospital.
I'm going to give birth.
I'm going to give
I'm
birth.
taking my bag.
Then, like, this was what literally happened with my last
Wow.
sister. She pounded yam that evening. She said, oh, I think I'm going to the hospital to give birth. Then she didn't come back that evening. Then we went to school. And then my aunt came to pick us and she said, Mommy is back home with the baby. And she was still, oh, it's a boy, it's a girl, it's a boy, it's a girl. Then we went home and my mom was back.
Wow.
And there was our baby there. And I'm like,
wow.
are you a normal person?
Like, what is this?
I was only 11, but it was like weird.
Even for you,
like,
it's
even
weird,
for
yeah.
me, I was young and I'm like, how do you just like pound yam, go to the hospital, come back the next day, and your baby is, you know, and then there are other women that would go and spend a whole week, 2 weeks. You know, there are women that go through postpartum depression, postpartum blues.
Yes.
So it's just a whole wide spectrum. So focus on your own journey and make sure that you are healthy, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. Make sure that you are sound, you know, so you can take care of yourself and the baby.
Fantastic, and that's a really good. That's really good advice in terms of people that have like postpartum blues and depression. I had a bit of it, and you know, and I guess like you said, it's just taking care of yourself. You have to really make that decision to take care of yourself. Okay. Drink my water. Okay. Okay. So you touched on fibroids. Fibroids are so common, but like from what I know, from my little knowledge that I know, like in the UK, it's normally more common amongst ethnic minorities, which is like, you know, black, white, black, Asian, and the like. And obviously in Nigeria, it's so common. So like, so I had fibroids, right? I had fibroids, and in Nigeria, it's like, oh, you have fibroids. They'll check it. Oh, you have fibroids, multiple fibroids, and you know, like it's normal. Like normal. When I got to the UK, they were like, okay, are you aware that you have fibroids? Okay, you have multiple fibroids. I was like, okay. So they're like, you need to have a conversation with me and sit down. I was like, yeah, I kind of know. So, okay. Every scan I went for, they made sure to mention that. Are you aware that you have fibroids? I'm seeing, okay, there's multiple here, and I'm just like, okay. I was so dramatic, and I was even like, no, I was even thinking, I said to them, you know, I'm thinking I want to have a water birth. They were like, no, that was the question. You know, that's not happening. I was like, okay. So like, fibroids are very common. What would you? I don't know. You know, I guess I don't know. Is there anything particular in particular that causes them? What would you say with people that have them? It wasn't because, thank God, it wasn't a problem for me to, you know, to have a baby and to give birth. It wasn't in the way. But for people that have them, or is there a way for people to avoid them? You know, I don't know. Maybe let's try it. Okay, is there a way for people to avoid getting fibroids?
Okay, so you see this fibroid gist, right? I remember back in school when they taught us about fibroids, and one of the things when we take each, you know, disease as it were, one of the things we want to do is the epidemiology. You want to know, you know, the facts and the figures. Is it commoner in this race or that race? You know, if it's hypertension, is it commoner in men or women? What age range? So one of the things that people need to know about fibroids.
Men get fibroids?
No. Or like if you're talking about hypertension, for example, is it commoner in men or women?
Okay, yeah.
Like hypertension is commoner in men.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it's commoner in blacks.
Yes. Yeah.
So for fibroids now, one of the things that you need to know is that once a woman is really, really most fertile when she's 25, you know, and I mean, it's fine, but usually after that age of 25, when it's like nature abhors vacuum. So when the uterus is designed to, you know, carry a baby and it doesn't, and then the body just develops, you know, this tissue that starts to grow, and you know, it grows, and we've had like deliveries of or like surgical removal of fibroids that are as big as babies. Wow. You know, and there's teeth, there's hair.
No. Yeah. In the fibroids. God, I'm just like shocked. Wow. So, from where?
Know, it's like cells. Like it's just a whole. They're just cells that just grow and So and then they're very highly vascular. Okay. So, and I remember then my professor was teaching us about how Nigerian women that have money would discover they have fibroids and go abroad, go to the UK to remove it. And they're like, those people don't even know about fibroids. White people don't even get it. Yeah. You know, so we have the experience.
They don't get it.
In it.
As much.
Yeah. So in Africa, like in a week, you're seeing a gynecologist taking out like 5 or 3 in a week.
Wow.
You understand? So it's like,
It's so
if this thing
common.
is just normal. I remember doing my
Yeah.
gynae posting, at least a week, we had one fibroid removal.
Wow.
So it's normal. Like, and these people can even sleep and operate on you and take out the baby because they've done it,
Wow.
a lot.
Not- yeah.
But outside there, it's like
It's a big deal.
They
We're like,
I remember when the doctor, he was a white, like an American white doctor, and after he took out the twins, and he was like, oh, I can see a lot of fibroids. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to close you up. And, if you want to take it out, you can come back and we'll take it out.
Wow.
Then the next year, I had Camden, and this time it was an Asian doctor. And so he opened, and then after he brought out the baby, he was like, oh, I saw a massive fibroid. It looks like cancer. And I took it out. I took it out, and I've sent it to the lab.
Wow.
And I'm like,
how can I do that?
I mean, like, for me, it was just, I was really just tired, and, so I'm like, fibroids are not even, like, they are not malignant. Like, what are you suspecting in a fibroid? Like, do you get, if you're pregnant, you have fibroids, take a lot of water. It would really, really, really help. Because it's like metabolite. The fibroids keep releasing all these metabolites that go in and cause pain and all of that, and prostaglandins and all of those things. So just take a lot of water. It would really, really help. I remember when I was before I was discharged, they were coming into my room and they're like, we need to see empty bottles of water. Why?
That is not enough.
You are not drinking. It's like, you want to stay here, So for me, I was like, I'm drinking, but that's what it is. Like, so fibroid is really the reality of the young African woman. Once you say, and that's the age. I was like 29 when I did the scan and found out. So you see the age range is usually between 28, 29, 30, especially 30, 31.
Wow.
That's the age. 40, 35. They've never, and then the history is usually nullipara. They've never been pregnant, and so their bodies just start to grow.
So if you get pregnant before 25, you're less likely to get fibroids?
Less likely.
Wow.
Less
Who's
likely.
getting that?
Or even maybe not before 25. Like, I think the age is usually between that 27, 28 and above.
Okay.
And then there are still women that would, of course, this doesn't apply to all
everyone,
women. It's still, there's no absolute in medicine. It's just that from studies that have been shown, most black women, it's commoner in blacks, and then commoner in women of childbearing age, greater than 25.
Wow.
That have never been pregnant.
I'm learning so much. I hope you guys are learning.
There are three different kinds of fibroids. They are the ones that sit outside the uterus. So imagine your womb. They are on the womb, on the uterus itself.
Yeah.
And then there are some that are embedded right in, those are the intramural ones. They're embedded right in the muscular body of the uterus. And then there are some that just sit right there in the uterus. Wow. And then those are the ones that sometimes prevent conception.
Okay.
So if you have fibroids, the most important thing is what type of fibroid is it. I carried my babies to full term with fibroids, but there are women that, the fibroid is actually blocking the passage where the baby should come out. So they actually can't push that baby. They actually have to have a C-section. So don't say, oh, Dr. Kemi, and they had fibroids and they were able to push. So they are different. Everyone is different. So just,
I know people that have C-sections lazy. Someone made a joke like fresh after I gave birth, and they were like, "Oh, you're too lazy to push." I'm just
no. My colleague told me, "Wait, the C-section you had? I thought you were a strong woman."
Like guys, that kind of talk.
A guy.
No.
It's
not from a guy as well.
From a guy. And then there are women that they're like, oh, will I get pregnant? Will I be fertile because I have fibroids? Yeah. We had fibroids and we had babies. So again, every woman, just see your gynecologist and let them decide what's best for you. For some women, they would have to take it out before they can conceive. So it really just depends. But this doesn't replace whatever instruction or direction your gynecologist or your doctor is giving you. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, I don't know who's banging on the wall. It doesn't come through. So, okay, going from that, like, before we reach the ultimate extra juicy part, so you said that going to see your gynecologist is important. I know some people, I don't know, you get letters in the UK, you get letters. They will be sending you letters back to back. So before I... You know what's so funny? So they kept sending me letters. I think it was around, I was 25, 26. They kept sending me letters. And I was like, Mommy, like, keep sending letters. And she was like, oh, that, I don't know, call them or whatever. Like, and it was awkward because I had not had sex yet. So I didn't know what to do. So you know, they called me.
For your pap smear?
For my pap smear. Okay. So I was like, okay, let me just go. So I went for you know, booked the appointment, went. And the woman tried to put this thing inside. And I was like, ah. And she's like, hold on a minute. Have you had sex? And I was like, no. She's like, you can get out. I was like, oh, okay, I don't need to do this. I didn't know that, because there was no information. Even like in school, they didn't tell us that you're supposed to have a pap smear after you have sex, right? Like, because they just assume, like a lot of teenagers are having sex.
Of course, yeah.
So they just assume that you already have sex. They're not going to expect that a 27-year-old hasn't had sex. Has not had sex before. So therefore, she does not need a pap smear. But, you know, so yes, people that have had sex need to have a pap smear. In Nigeria, there's no, as far as I know, unless you're under private healthcare. I don't know if even with private healthcare, if you get
healthcare.
they don't send you information. Oh God!
No,
they don't send you information.
I mean,
they don't send you letters or anything. So,
yeah.
what, you know, how as a woman do you take responsibility and ensure that you regulate, you know, your checkups as well? Like, how often should one go for a pap smear?
I mean, so, you know, with everything that, you know, we know as doctors and as medics generally, because if you're a nurse, if you've worked in a hospital setting, then definitely you know all of these things. So it's really sad that, you know, in these parts, we don't have like a unified healthcare system where if you had to move from maybe here to another city, you know, a doctor could just log in and see your records. You know, because ideally, if you visit the doctor, like you should have your sexual history, everything should be there, you know, and then they should be able to schedule you for these tests, your breast checks, your pap smear, you know, your blood pressure, or everything,
stuff,
like the whole works, you know. So, but for now, I mean, what a lot of people are just doing is a lot of non-governmental organizations. I try to do my own bit, you know, just informing the general public.
Tell us what your own bit is, please. What's your
So
own?
I actually run Proactive Healthy Woman, and what we really do there is
Proactive Healthy Woman. I'll put the it's on Instagram, isn't it?
Yes.
I'll put the Instagram here.
So what we actually do is like we run full health checks for women, and all of those things of, oh, my next check, we have vaccines, even for women that, I mean, for people that haven't been sexually active, you have your cervical, your HPV vaccine to protect against cervical cancer. We have those vaccines that are available for you to be able to take. And then there are some of the vaccines that can even be taken even if the woman is sexually active, because sometimes they may have been, the HPV has like various strains. So, you know, there are two that are really notorious for causing cervical cancer. Wow, okay. Yes, so it may not be that particular strain of HPV, but really a pap smear just helps to just clear it out. In fact, there's studies to show that one pap smear can reduce the chance of a woman ever having, the first pap smear, ever having cervical cancer by like over 70%. Wow. You know, and by the time she does the second one, it really just takes out all of those things. So my colleagues always joke and say that every Nigerian is just one illness away from poverty, because we don't really have like a proper health insurance. You know, dialysis is expensive. Like, these things are crazy expensive. You know, healthcare system is expensive here. My kids were ill, and I literally went to about 5 hospitals before I could settle. Like, that's story for another day. And I was really sad, because I'm like, with my network, being a doctor, all of the things I know, do I have to suffer this much? Even me, you know. So how much more? You know, and I just kept complaining about how it's just sad, but that's not the basis of. We're trying to see how we can help. So for everyone, take responsibility for your health. Yes. That's just it. Take responsibility for your health, ladies. Yes. The same way they say, oh, the government is not going to give you money for anything. The government is not going to give you, there's no relief, there's no, oh, you just gave birth, come and take baby milk and diapers. Nothing like that happens here. You take responsibility. So the same thing applies for your health. Take responsibility for your health. The thing is, a lot of Nigerians just live in this bubble of, they just push it aside, it doesn't exist, I'm fine, I'm making money, my body is well. And sometimes I just smile and I'm like, I'm just waiting for all of us in this age to get to our 40s, and then things will now start hitting people. And the funny thing is, with the lifestyle that we have now, we're not even waiting till 40s. I'm having patients now that are 28, they're in their 30s, they're having issues with hypertension, issues with diabetes, no previous family history, you know. So it's crazy. So really, you need to take responsibility. Do your research. Go on Google. Go and find out. Don't wait for no doctor is going to call you to remind you. That's just the honest truth. I see an average of, when I work full day, I see at least 20, 25 patients. How do I follow all 25 of them up? It's not possible.
Yeah, it's not
you
possible.
know. So I work. The next doctor comes. The only thing I know I try to do is for every patient that comes in contact with me, I give you all the information that I can possibly give you, and hammer down on you. If you're my patient, you will know. I will stress you until you comply.
Yeah.
You know, but really take responsibility. Nobody is really going to send you reminder emails. Oh, Yetunde, your pap smear is due for November 28th,
Yeah.
2020.
So
like you have to do yourself.
So how often a year? Like twice?
So the thing is, if you do not have, if you go for your pap smear and the result is clear, it should be once every 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you do a pap smear and the results come back with whatever, then your doctor will decide what you may need to come in for treatment or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Take responsibility for your health, guys.